Hello and welcome. Will here with Esotelis, and I just wanted to offer a few words related to the Scorpio full moon lunar event that we are experiencing today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. So depending on where you are in the world, you will experience the height of this event, at different times, but you should start feeling the energy of this cosmic event within the next few days, and probably will be feeling it for a few days to come. So it is a Scorpio full moon directly opposite the sun, which is in Taurus right now. The sun is conjunct Venus, Mercury, Uranus, and Lilith. Depending on what your birth chart looks like, it could be happening in any of the houses, so check that out. But because we're conjunct with all of these planets are definitely playing some kind of influence in what is happening with this full moon. So full moon has a huge tendency to kind of like shine a little bit of light on a certain area in our lives. The full moon only happens when the sun is directly opposite, 180 degrees across the chart. And usually the full moon is this kind of like peak or like eclipse. So think about what was going on in like your mental or emotional life in about the middle of November last year when we had a Scorpio new moon, and maybe you will start to see a little bit of like links happening with what was going on then versus what's happening now. Maybe you'll start to see this kind of like pattern or cycle, something coming to an end or coming to kind of like a crux. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what a Scorpio full moon means for us. So Scorpio is ruling all of the things kind of like dark and secretive of our lives. So if you think about Halloween, you think about Scorpio. If you think about like harvest season in the northern hemisphere, you think about Scorpio. All things that are a little bit occult or a little bit like tucked away. This is Scorpio energy, something that is kind of like lurking in the shadows, maybe the depths of the ocean, absolutely. And with a full moon lighting up that sign, we're really kind of like forced to face and reflect all of those things that maybe we've been kind of like putting off dealing with, or we haven't felt inspired to deal with that before, especially with this opposite what's going on in the sign of Taurus. So the sun, like I said, Venus, Mercury, and Uranus, as well as the Lilith, are all conjunct in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is a sign that kind of brings us back down to earth. It makes us feel comfortable. It makes us feel safe. However, especially with Uranus, which kind of like throws a little bit of confusion in with everything, and the Lilith sign, which is kind of like our natural impulses or our natural urges, instincts, even things that we don't notice about ourselves. The word I'm getting here is purge. Like, I feel like we are needing to purge not just ourselves individually, but as like a community, as a race, as a society, a global society. A lot of things that have been going on, and we've all kind of been saying like, oh, when things get better or when things go back to normal. I think what this moon is trying to show us is like, this is the new normal. There is no such thing as normal. We're not going back to anything, right? Nothing is returning. This is the situation, and this is how we can deal with that, right? So I feel like this is going to be a time that is especially like, I keep hearing the word purge, like we're really kind of getting rid of these ideas or getting rid of these feelings or these emotions that kind of like weigh us down and keep us like trapped in this old space, right? We needed these things to happen. We needed to experience these things, not just the pandemic, but this has been an extremely challenging epic for everyone psychologically, emotionally. Having the Mercury in Taurus, especially if you're experiencing a Mercury return like I am, it's going to be a lot easier for you to verbalize those feelings. It's going to be a lot easier for you to talk about what you're feeling and what you need, and maybe even just with yourself, right? But because we've got Venus here conjunct with the moon, with the sun and Mercury, it's much easier for us to know exactly what it is that we want and what we need, and to identify those things. With Uranus, maybe there is going to be like a little bit of confusion, or I want to say even like frustration, right? Maybe we don't want to admit the things that are bothering us, or the things that we know that we need to change, or the things that we know that aren't serving us in our lives anymore. That is not necessarily a feeling of your own, but instead it's a feeling that is really kind of universal amongst everyone right now. Now we're able to like change that perspective and change those views, and even kind of work on our values and see how things are going, seeing how things are going to change, and see what we can do in order to facilitate that. So I pulled a few cards here from my tarot just to associate what's going on in the chart here, and I wanted to share a few words about that. So our sense of satisfaction and our sense of gratification, along with our sense of comfort and our sense of achievement and success, are very much focused right now. They're very much focused, especially because we've got the Sun in Taurus, we've got Venus in Taurus. We want luxury, not necessarily luxury like you think about like Kardashian type luxury, but like whatever your vision of luxury is, like comfort, maybe something new, maybe something that makes you feel like comfortable or good. These are the kinds of things that we're focusing on, and these are the kinds of things that we even need in our lives right now, in order to feel that sense of satisfaction and that sense of gratification. And it's all related to what we can create. Your luxury, your sense of satisfaction, and your sense of feeling good, these are things that don't just come from anywhere, right? These are things that you have to build, you have to construct yourself. And in order to do that, you really have to kind of go inward. You really have to learn to understand yourself and see where you are in your own life, so that you can put those things into action. Like I said, we have a little bit of conflict, especially when it comes to like thought and movement and action. I feel like this is the Uranus sign. It could be related to Uranus. Uranus is also experiencing an aspect with Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is all about like organization and like structure and law and guidance even. And it to be in Aquarius is a little bit kind of like a shaky feeling, because Aquarius is all kind of like about the opposite of those things. Like Aquarius just wants to like be free and out of the box and creating as it goes. So what is the next step for me? Like where do I go from now, right? Like I'm going inward and I'm understanding my feelings, right? But I don't know what to do, right? I don't know exactly where to go. We need to go towards this feeling of contentment, this feeling of success, right? So keep your eye on the prize here. Do whatever those actions are that you are inspired to do, that gives you that feeling that this action will lead you to this feeling of success. However, I do feel like all of this is kind of related to some kind of severance. Now I want to say the word of like giving up, right? So you will have to give up something. You will have to give in to something. You will have to sacrifice something. So maybe you will be moving into a new place, but you will be leaving something behind. Maybe you'll be moving into a new place, but you'll be picking something up that's new. Finally, I wanted to offer a few words about what is going on with the sign of Pluto. So Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. So Pluto is the ruler of this lunar event that we've got going on today. And Pluto is soon to go into retrograde. So Pluto will actually hop into retrograde before the moon actually becomes full at its peak. And I really feel like this will just give us this kind of like last and final like little kick into this lunar event that we need to feel in order so that we can like really go into all of this. And this Pluto retrograde, I feel like is really going to just like give us that final push, that last piece of the puzzle that makes us like get rid of whatever it is that we needed to get rid of. Maybe we can like finally take the mask off and see exactly what it is that we needed to see in order for us to say, I'm done. This is a process. This is something that happens over a period. So expect yourself to kind of have these changes of heart or changes of ideas, changes of minds, changes of feeling over the next week or 2-week period even. So I'm gonna leave for now, and I'll see you later. Bye.